Before we get into today's edition of Just the Truth, let me tell you about the latest special from Mike Lindell at MyPillow. The standard MyPillow, normally $49.98 for a limited time only, just $14.88 with promo code Joey. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener specials, and see all the specials. There's a limited quantity of just 10 at this special price. That's $14.88 with promo code Joey. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss Studio. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. The much-anticipated interview of President Donald Trump and Elon Musk with Sean Hannity aired last night, and it was quite interesting to see these two very powerful, very rich men who obviously have become good friends interact and talk about just wanting to do something good for the country. We have the highlights for you. Remember those pardons that Joe Biden handed out as he was exiting the White House? One of those responsible for the brutal murder of 2 FBI agents in South Dakota. Because of Joe Biden, this killer is being welcomed home at a party hosted at a casino near the location where the murders were committed back in 1975. Precinct RE-ORG is just around the corner. South Carolina state law requires the Republican Party to have its precinct reorganization meetings in March, so each county is working hard to make those plans. Joining us today is Curtis Smith, chairman of the Spartanburg County GOP, to give us the details. And Congressman William Timmons is on the House DOJ subcommittee. And they had their first hearing last week in an effort to help President Trump weed out waste, fraud, and decrease the size of the federal government. Congressman Timmons joins us a little later in the show as well.
I told you we'd be back.
And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
It's Joey Hudson.
I wanted to name it the Joey Hudson bill, but, they don't allow you to put names on bills. But I wanted to call it the Joey Hudson bill because I know that one's been near and dear to you for a number of years.
That's how it's done. Let your voice be heard.
And the truth shall set you free.
Here's Joey Hudson.
The much-anticipated interview of President Donald Trump and Elon Musk with Sean Hannity aired last night, and Hannity started with a light note, kind of kidding about the fact that Twitter X just settled a major lawsuit with Trump where they agreed to pay him $10 million. Here's the exchange.
I've got to start with this. So he's working for free with Doge. He's kind of put a lot of his life on hold. And you sued Twitter a number of years ago. You just made him pay you $10 million?
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
I sued from long before he had it.
Yeah.
And I mean, they really did a number on me, and I sued and they had to pay, they paid $10 million settlement.
You're okay with that?
I mean, I left it up to the lawyers and the team running Twitter. So I said, you guys do what you think is it makes sense.
I think it's fun.
I think it's a very low. I was looking to get much more money than that.
So you gave him a discount when the lawsuit.
He got a big discount. I don't think he even knows about it.
He's become one of your, if you read and believe the media, he's become one of your best friends. He's working for free.
Obviously, this suit started long before Elon Musk purchased X, but still, it would have to get your attention that you just paid a guy $10 million and you're volunteering your time to help him become successful. You're away from your company. You're trying to make this guy's presidency a success. Now, again, this is a little different because it's very evident that Elon Musk and Donald Trump have great respect for one another, and they share a special friendship, and they have a love for our country. At one point, Musk stopped Hannity to make it clear that he really does love the president.
If you read and believe the media, he's become one of your best friends. He's working for free for you.
Well, I love the president. I just want to be clear about that.
You don't care about that.
I know. I love the president.
You love the president.
I think President Trump is a good man, and he's,
It's nice the way he said that. There's something nice about it.
It really is.
It is.
Because I mean, the president's been so unfairly attacked in the media. It's really outrageous. And I've at this point spent a lot of time with the president, and not once have I seen him do something that was mean or cruel or wrong. Not once.
I've known him for 30 years.
Yeah.
And I've never seen anybody take as much as he's taken.
Yeah.
And we've discussed this, and I'm like, how do you deal with it?
Did I have a choice?
Well, you would say that to me. I'm like, what am I going to do? Worry about it? And, and then culminating in 2 assassination attempts, which resulted in your endorsement.
Well, I was going to do it anyway, but that was a
precipitating
event, yes.
That speeded it. up a little bit?
Yeah.
The day of the
I
assassination.
didn't know that.
Yeah. It sped it up, but I was going to do it anyway.
As both Hannity and Musk joke about their friendship with Trump, this is a side of Donald Trump that most people don't necessarily see. Now, I don't know President Donald Trump. I've met him maybe twice, but I have friends and coworkers who do know the president, and they're quick to say that Donald Trump is a kind and a generous man. He helps people in ways that go unnoticed. He does things that he doesn't brag about. Now, yes, he can be loud. He can be in your face when it's in politics, but he's also a kind person who likes people, who loves to help people. And he's been doing this for years now. But the left want to demonize him. And this is the real sad part of American politics now. Hannity also brought up the elephant in the room, so to speak, asking the two if they understand that the left is trying to drive a wedge between their friendship. They're trying to divide them, hoping to turn them against one another.
You're both aware, you have to be keenly aware, that the media and the punditry class, not that, I think you've proven they have no power anymore because they threw everything they had at you and they didn't win. And that was, the New York Times, Washington Post, 3 networks, every late night comedy show, 2 cable channels. They just threw everything, lawfare, weaponization.
Sure.
And now I see they want you two to start, they want a divorce. They want you two to start hating each other. And they try, President Elon Musk, for example. You do know that they're doing that to you.
Oh, I see it all the time. They tried it, then they stopped. That wasn't. They have many different things of hatred. Actually, Elon called me. He said, they're trying to drive us apart. I said, absolutely. They said, we have breaking news. Donald Trump has ceded control of the presidency to Elon Musk. President Musk will be attending a cabinet meeting tonight at 8 o'clock. And I say, It's just so obvious. They're so bad at it. I used to think they were good at it. They're actually bad at it, because if they were good at it, I'd never be president. Because I think nobody in history has ever gotten more bad publicity than me. I could do the greatest things. I get 98% bad publicity. I could do, outside of you and a few of your very good friends, it's like the craziest thing. But you know what I have learned, Elon? The people are smart. They get it.
Yeah, they do, actually.
They get it. They really see what's happening.
Yes.
And at the end of this interview, what I would like is I want people to know the relationship and know more about you. What is the relationship, Mr. President?
Well, I respect him. I've always respected him. I never knew that he was right on certain things, and I'm usually pretty good at this stuff. He did Starlink. He did things that were so advanced and nobody knew what the hell they were. I can tell you in North Carolina, they had no communication. They were wiped out. Those people were, they had rivers in between. Land that never saw water, all of a sudden it was a river and a vicious, like rapids. People were dying all over. They had no communication. They said, Elon Musk? They didn't really know I knew him. I said, yeah. He said, could you get Starlink? It's like the first time I ever heard of it. I said, what's Starlink? A communication system. That's unbelievable.
I have it.
Yeah. And he said, I called him and I said, listen, they really need it. And he got like thousands of units of this communication, and it saved a lot of lives. He got it immediately, and you can't get it. I mean, you have to wait a long time to get it. But he got it to him immediately, and I said, that's pretty amazing, and I didn't even know he had it.
It was a great interview. If you missed it, it's worth going back and catching up and watching some of it, because we're going to see a lot of Elon Musk. We're going to see a lot of he and President Trump working together. And just think about what they've done in just a month together and what they'll be able to accomplish over the next 4 years. It's going to be fun to watch, and our country is going to be a lot better off because of it. The Democrats are scrambling to blame Trump on everything. This time, it's Chuck Schumer spewing absolute nonsense about the plane crash in Toronto. Did you hear this? Have you seen the story? Of course, Delta Airlines, their flight from Minneapolis crash landed in Canada. Horrific. And thank God, it's just amazing that everyone survived. There were a couple of serious injuries, but still they're expected to survive. It flipped upside down, skidded across the runway, burst into flames. So Schumer's out there claiming that Trump's supposed cuts to the FAA somehow caused the crash in Canada. Enter White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, who absolutely torched Schumer's ridiculous claim. First, she pointed out the obvious. This was a Canadian crash in Canadian airspace under the watch of Canadian air traffic controllers. And she went on to talk about the fact that so far, nothing Trump has done has even affected the FAA and the air traffic control system in the United States. There have been no cuts yet that would affect air traffic controllers in the U.S. And in fact, she talked about the fact that Trump and his Secretary of Transportation, they are promoting a recruitment program to hire more air traffic controllers. It's just another example of how the left, they're panicking and they're trying to pull out anything they can to try to tear down Donald Trump. There's a lot of talk about making America great again, and it begins with making America healthy again. Dr. Ashley Lucas and her team at PhD Weight Loss are at the forefront to educate and guide you to be your best self. The millions being spent in propping up Big Pharma are astounding, only to create long-term dependency and harmful side effects. Let's take a natural approach that isn't connected to a pharmaceutical company's bottom line. The coaches at PhD Weight Loss will show you how. The entire program is centered around science and nutrition, a proven roadmap that has helped over 8,000 clients lose over 331,000 pounds. You'll learn what to eat and when, how to quiet cravings, and finally get rid of that belly fat. Plus, you'll never take a medication. How many pounds would you like to lose in 2025? Do it the natural way with PhD Weight Loss, here to lead the charge to make America healthy again. Call PhD Weight Loss and schedule your consultation. 864-644-1900. That's 864-644-1900, or go to myphdweightloss.com. Last week, the Delivering on Government Efficiency House Subcommittee held its first hearing, led by Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. The committee will be working directly with the White House on President Trump's plan to reshape the federal government. On our guest line today, representing South Carolina's 4th District, Congressman William Timmons. Welcome, sir. How are you?
Joey, doing great. Good to be with you. These are exciting times,
That's for sure. Congressman, you and your colleagues have been busy the last few weeks. The pace that President Trump has set for his first few weeks in office is pretty fast. Is Washington accustomed to moving this quickly?
Absolutely not. But when you have $36 trillion in debt and a $2 trillion annual deficit and hundreds of billions of dollars are being stolen, hundreds of billions of taxpayer dollars are being stolen, this is the appropriate pace to take.
Yeah. Congressman, DOGE has dominated the headlines these past few weeks. Some of the stories are just mind-boggling. For example, a $29 million contract to strengthen the political landscape in Bangladesh, $47 million to improve learning outcomes in Asia, $32 million to the Prague Civil Society Center. Congressman, who comes up with this nonsense?
A bunch of career bureaucrats that couldn't be further left and more extreme in their political views. It's just a complete... I'd say it's a shock, but it's really not a shock at all. We knew this is what was going on, but now we actually have the ability to dig in and cut out the rot. And let me tell you what, this is rot. A lot of these programs you could argue in certain ways or another, but my favorite is the drag shows in Ecuador.
Yeah.
Like, in what world do we need to spend taxpayer dollars for drag shows in Ecuador for transgender surgeries in Bolivia? Like, what? Yeah. What is going on? So look, there's a lot of people that are very reasonable, that are very concerned about the future of USAID, and all that's happened is simple. We've pared it down entirely. The agency's gone. We moved a number of the employees over to the State Department, so there is appropriate oversight from the Republican or the Democrat Secretary of State. And so these policies, or these programs, these grants are going to be watched over in a way that is appropriate. The checks and balances, the executive oversight, we're going to have that, because these are not programs that are authorized and appropriated by Congress. These are these are pots of money that are then given to the executive. And we all know that Biden didn't do any of this stuff because he lacked the mental capacity to be charged with a crime. He was asleep at the wheel. And so who was making these decisions for billions and billions and billions of dollars of taxpayer money? We're going to put a stop to this. But we're still going to be the leaders in the global community. We're just going to do it from a position of strength, not a position of where the world's bank account.
Yeah, Congressman William Timmons is with me today. Let's talk about your work on the House DOGE subcommittee. What role will this committee play in assisting Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency?
So we're doing the same thing that the DOGE fire teams in each of the agencies are doing, but a whole of government approach. Our first hearing was on Medicaid fraud. And so just for example, if you have enhanced identity verification and enhanced income verification, we could save $200 to $300 billion a year. If you expand that across all government benefits, meaning you have to show that you are who you say you are, and you have to show that you have the financial situation required to get the benefits, that will save $1 trillion a year. Yeah. This is 2025. You can easily upload your photo ID, and you can easily provide your bank information so we can verify this stuff. Because I want to help people that need help. But guess what? We're running out of the ability to do that because people are stealing from the government. People are stealing across the government. And that is putting a strain on our resources. We can't keep going down this path, and it's immoral to allow people to get benefits that they are not entitled to at the expense of people that need them. So, look, we're doing the right thing. The left is going to kick and scream, it seems, all the way, but I kind of think that's the best part.
Yesterday, Mr. Musk posted that there are millions of people in the Social Security database ranging from the ages of 100 to 159, and that there are more eligible Social Security numbers than there are actually citizens in the United States. How does this happen?
We're going to get to the bottom of this, but I think some of those numbers are the original Social Security recipients. And most people don't realize this, but there was a person getting veterans benefits from the Civil War up until probably 10, 20 years ago, because somebody fought in the Civil War when they were 16, 17, 18, and then they got married to a 20-year-old when they were 90, and their benefits passed. So I have a feeling that some of this data is going to show that somebody passed away and they had a younger spouse, and that spouse is still receiving their benefits. That's the law. But we're going to get to the bottom of it. I mean, if there's any fraud, I think the bigger number was the number of people that received Social Security benefits that didn't have a Social Security number.
Yes, wow.
That's the one that gets me.
Wow.
How do you pay into a system to get benefits when you get old enough if you don't have a Social Security number to pay into the system?
Yeah. From the 4th District, Representative William Timmons with me today. All right, so during your hearing last week, Maryland Democrat Representative Melanie Stansbury stated that it's wrong to allow, quote, Elon Musk and his hackers to gain access to sensitive databases like the U.S. Treasury payment system. Now, what does she think Musk could possibly do with the data other than hold the federal bureaucracy accountable?
Look, they're flipping out because all of this money that we're stopping, all of these programs, it goes to like-minded people and all these Democrat donors that are giving all of this money away. I mean, USAID, the donations from the almost 10,000 employees, 98% of that money went to Democrats. I mean, again, I don't care what bureaucrats are doing with their campaign contributions, but it just goes to show you that the Democrats are flipping out because this is their people that they feel are getting wronged. But at the same time, everybody got to remember, the entire campaign, President Trump said what he would do. He said Elon Musk was going to do it. And, when Joe Biden hires Pete Buttigieg to go run, Department of Transportation with zero qualifications whatsoever in any reasonable respect, nobody thinks it's inappropriate for him to do that. Elon Musk has the qualifications to go through government and to right this ship. And so I don't understand what their concern is with Elon Musk. It doesn't matter who it is. The president has the authority to hire whoever he wants to do this job. And he chose Elon Musk, and Elon Musk is choosing the people that go and work for him. We are following the law, and the world is going to see that. And honestly, I think time is going to tell that the people that flipping out the most are the ones that have their hand in the cookie jar. And I mean, we're going to get to the bottom of this, and they ain't going to like it, but we're going to do it.
Yeah. Congressman William Timmons, is always a pleasure. I appreciate what you're doing. And look, we're going to be watching very closely. I can't. When is your next subcommittee hearing?
I think it's going to be in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's been publicly released, so
Okay.
I don't want to get ahead of the chairwoman.
Well, we're going to be watching anxiously for the next hearing, and appreciate your work on that. And let's catch up again soon.
Love to do it. Thanks for having me.
Sure thing. Your comments are welcome on the Furman Ford text line, 864-477-JOEY. That's 864-477-5639. Emails always welcome, joey@joeyhudson.com.
Strikes to the heart of FBI agents. These two agents were brutally executed. And so the FBI family feels very strongly today, as we did in 1975. We feel that devastating loss of those two agents. So it is something that the FBI has a long memory. We are a very traditional organization. Our stories of our heroes are passed down from generation to generation. And so the other major issue is this could happen to anyone. It could happen to any one of us today. And so I think it's something that we feel very strongly about, and we want to continue to see it through. There's been appeal after appeal after appeal, all the way up to the Supreme Court on two separate occasions. The sentence has been upheld every single time. So there's no confusion on the FBI's part or on the Agents Association's part and rank and file FBI agents as to what went on that day and what Mr. Peltier's role was. And it's been reviewed over and over these several decades. At this point, we feel he should continue to carry out his sentence the way it was handed down all of those years ago.
That was the voice of Natalie Berra, president of the FBI Agents Association. She's talking about this brutal murderer who has just been released. Now, I wish I was making this up, but Joe Biden's last act in office, you may recall, was literally spitting in the face of law enforcement, betraying the FBI, and letting a convicted cop killer walk free. Leonard Peltier. He's a radical leftist, a man convicted of brutally executing two FBI agents in cold blood. He's headed home thanks to Joe Biden's final slap in the face to the rule of law. This guy's been sitting in prison for nearly 50 years now, serving 2 consecutive life sentences for his role in the 1975 ambush and execution of FBI agents Jack Kohler and Ronald Williams on a South Dakota reservation. Now, let's be clear here. These agents weren't at war. They weren't armed aggressors. They were simply doing their jobs, looking for a robbery suspect, and instead, they were ambushed, wounded, then executed point blank with rounds to the head. And who was the only person on scene with an AR-15 that fired those rounds? Leonard Peltier. Now, Peltier and his radical left-wing defenders have spent decades painting him as a political prisoner, calling his conviction unfair, claiming prosecutorial misconduct. Well, here's the truth. His conviction was upheld after more than a dozen appeals, including 2 that reached the Supreme Court. So I guess the Supreme Court's been wrong twice. His parole request was denied just last year, again. Bill Clinton refused to pardon Peltier. And Joe Biden's old boss, Barack Obama, also refused to pardon Peltier. But good old Joe Biden, oh no, he caved because the radical left demanded that he do this before leaving office. So let me tell you who begged Biden not to do this. Former FBI Director Christopher Wray. He called Peltier a remorseless killer, said granting clemency would be an affront to the rule of law. The FBI Agents Association, you just heard Miss Natalie Berra. They're furious, saying that this murderer doesn't deserve the mercy he denied his victims. The families of Jack Kohler and Ronald Williams, who just watched their loved one's killer walk free while they're still suffering. This killer is literally on his way to a welcome home party at a reservation casino, the same reservation where the murders took place. But what did Joe Biden do? He listened to the left-wing activists instead of law enforcement. He put more weight in the demands of Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and some of the radical indigenous groups than in decades of judicial rulings and evidence. And now, this convicted killer headed home to a celebration, again, at a casino. That's right. He's not going home in disgrace. He's being welcomed as a hero by the radical left. Imagine being the families of those slain agents and watching this play out. Imagine being a potential law enforcement officer, a young man or woman who aspires to be an FBI agent, and you see a man who murders potentially your fellow agents just walk free. He just thumbs his nose at law enforcement. And let's not forget, this is just another example of the Biden administration, and thank goodness they're out of here. The Biden administration prioritizing criminals over law enforcement. They let violent offenders roam free. They attacked police officers, and now they're pardoning cop killers on their way. He pardoned them on his way out the door as a final slap in the face. This is just one other reason why we have to make sure that history records Joe Biden as the absolute worst president in our country's history. We got to keep repeating this. We can't let the left-wing media gloss over these types of actions as Joe Biden was leaving office and rewrite the narrative. We got to make sure. Now, again, I know that Joe Biden's, he's gone. Some people, I've had emails from some of you saying, forget about Joe Biden. He's out of here. And I get that. And I agree. But we also got to be sure that the history books record who Joe Biden really was. We can't have some biographer writing, glossing over his real record and making him look like he was actually an effective president. Folks, this is why Donald Trump's back in office. This is why we took back our country on November the 5th, 2024, because the radical left does not believe in justice. They do not believe in law and order. They do not stand with the men and women who keep us safe every day, the men and women who put on a uniform, put on a badge, put on a gun, and protect us at all levels, whether it's the local police, whether it's the sheriff, whether it's the state patrol, or FBI agents. This is real simple. Peltier should have died in prison, but thanks to Joe Biden, he's out partying and being held as a hero. Your comments are welcome on the Furman Ford text line, 864-477-JOEY. That's 864-477-5639. Emails always welcome, joey@joeyhudson.com. Speaking of the Furman Ford text line, it's never been more important to support locally run businesses owned by people who actually live here in the upstate. Let me take a minute to talk with you about our friends at Furman Ford. If you're looking for a new vehicle, maybe a great pre-owned vehicle, one you could trust, or maybe you're looking to order that special vehicle. Either way, if you want a new one, a brand new one, or a pre-owned that you can trust, the folks at Furman Ford, they're there to help you. Their name is on the sign because their name is on the line, because every single transaction is important to them. Jim Furman, Matthew Furman. They do business the right way. When you stop by, when you give them a call, or maybe when you just send them a quick email, you're always going to have access to a member of the Furman Ford family. And by the way, they also offer great service, and you're not going to have to wait weeks and weeks to get it done. And you do not have had to purchase your vehicle at Furman Ford. Doesn't even have to be a Ford. They service all makes and models. Visit my friends at Furman Ford online at furmanford.com, furmanford.com. We're in the middle of making all the preparations for reorg this spring. In just a few weeks, counties will start having their precinct meetings, and then the county conventions, and then the South Carolina GOP will convene in Columbia in May for the state convention. On our guest line today, a guy who's done this a few times, Chairman of the Spartanburg County Republican Party, Curtis Smith. Welcome. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Joey. I hope everybody's doing great.
We are doing wonderful. I know you've been busy. Before we get into the specifics, dates and places and all, give us an overview of what takes place during reorg.
Well, according to statute, by law, the Republicans reorganize in the odd years, and the Democrats do it in the even years. And what we do is we take all the precincts in the county, and they have their reorg. They all get together, elect new officers, elect new delegates to the county convention, and elect people that they nominate people they think should go to the state convention. Then after they do that during the reorg, which is the month of March, then in the month of April, the counties hold their conventions. And this year we have 1,258 delegates from our county to our county convention. That's probably the largest number we've ever had, which is going to be good. So finding locations is important that can handle this number of people. But anyway, in April, we will have a county convention, and we will elect new county officers, and then we will elect the delegates to go to the state convention, which will happen in May.
Yeah. There's been some online discussion about timelines and when the precincts meet, where they're going to meet. The dates and location for the Spartanburg precincts. I understand that you guys have just posted those. All of these dates, though, the state law provides for certain meetings to take place at a certain time, right?
That is correct. The law says that we have to hold the county convention at least 2 weeks before the state convention. And the state just said they're going to hold theirs on May the 3rd, which knocked out the last 2 weeks in April, which got us all scrambling because we thought we would have plenty of time to do it late April. Remember, the 1st of April, we have Easter, and then the first couple weeks in April, they have spring break where all the kids go on vacation. So scrambling to get a place and a time where 1,200 people can get together for the county convention became one of the big issues.
Yeah.
And then, by law, we have to do the reorg in March. And we were trying to make sure that we had the right numbers, and there were lots of discussions with the state as to what primaries we were going to use. So we had to wait until those were finalized, which just happened about 10 days ago, so that we would be able to know where we're doing. And now that's where our 1,258 delegates came from, because we used the Republican June primary to calculate how many delegates we were going to have for the county convention.
Yep. With me today, Chairman of the Republican Party in Spartanburg County, Curtis Smith. All right, so let's just walk through this. So the first step in this process will be precinct meetings. When will those be, and where will they be?
Well, what we have done is we've divided the county up into thirds, primarily following our county council lines, so that we can keep everybody geographically located so they don't have to drive across the county. And since now we have 112 precincts, we've added 15 and 18 precincts since the last time we reorganized. So now with all these new people that are here, we decided to do these in thirds. So we have in 1 week, we did from March the 17th, the 18th, the 19th, the 20th, and 20th. We have put together 3 dates so that the team can actually run 3 locations. The first one is going to be a group, primarily it's from people who are in County Council District 1 and 3. We have a list of all the precincts, and it comes out to about 38 of them. And that will be on Monday, March the 17th at 6:30, and that's going to be at the Spartanburg Community College Tiger River campus, 1875 East Main Street in Duncan. Yeah. And we have it published online so everybody can take a look at where they are. And you'll see that, Abner Creek all the way down through the last of the ones that they have. It's a good number.
Yeah. And so you said, so you basically have several nights here. The next night I see March the 18th, Tuesday. Again, that's another group of precincts. And then another on Thursday, March the 20th, another group of precincts. That is
correct.
Yep. So what if someone who is driving right now can't take notes? You said it's posted online. Where do they find that if they need to look it up later?
Well, it's on our Facebook page, and we have sent it to over 4,000 people. We've also sent it to your radio station to be there. But if you go on Spartanburg County Republican Party at our webpage, you're going to find the Facebook site, and that's where it's going to be sitting.
Oh, okay.
So you can take a look at it right there.
Yeah. So you can find it there. Just find your precinct and then find out which night and where you need to go to be there. Now, what should people expect to do once they get to the precinct meeting?
Well, they have to bring their voter registration card and their voter registration number is what we're looking for, and a driver's license to prove that that's who they are. They will come in and we will record their numbers so that we can check them out to make sure they are a registered voter in Spartanburg County in that precinct. Then we will direct them to tables in the room where their precinct will meet, and we'll give them a Form 1, and they will be able then to meet everybody that's in their precinct, shake hands, write down all that are there, and then they will vote on who wants to be the president of their precinct, who's going to be the executive committeeman from their precinct, who's going to be the first vice president of their precinct. So they elect the officers, and that's important because those are the people that will get out the vote and help us with communications in the precincts.
Yeah.
They'll be the ones who will help, organize the meetings. So when that's all done, then they vote all those people, they turn back in, they record it on a Form 2, turn it back into us, we will go down through and certify it, and then we will see all the people they've elected to come to the county convention. And with that information, then we'll be able to put together the lists of the delegates that are going to go to the county convention.
Yeah. And then the county convention is when and where will that be?
Well, right now it's tentative at High Point Academy. And the reason why I say it's tentative because our executive committee will meet on February the 24th to confirm it, but it'll be April the 12th. And as I said, we were looking at the month of April. The second half of April was knocked off because of the state's convention being on May the 3rd. The first weekend is Easter, and then we have spring break. So the 12th is really the only day we had left in April that would probably conveniently work with everybody. So we're going to recommend that to the EC on the 27th. And it will start, registration will start at 9 on that date, and we will try to kick the convention off at 10.
Yep. Curtis Smith with me today, chairman of the Spartanburg Republican Party. If you need additional information, just look up the Spartanburg County Republican Party online. You can find them on Facebook, their website. You can get this information on there as far as where your precinct meeting will take place. And then, of course, that will lead to the county convention as well. Now, Curtis, this takes a lot of time. I mean, you've talked about a lot of details here as far as the precinct meetings themselves and then the county convention. Who does all of this?
Well, we have a group of us. We're all volunteers. None of us get paid anything. And we have to go find the locations. We have to get the insurance. We have to get the security. We have to get the signs. We have to get all the Form 1s and the Form 2s put together. We have to get the envelopes so that everybody has the right information when they get to the reorg and when they get to the county convention. And then even going forward to the state convention, we have to have documentation and stuff. So we have a group of 8 of us and volunteers from the precincts who work very hard in the month of February to get this thing going.
Yep. Well, it takes a lot of people to give of their time to do this, and I applaud all of you who are involved. Look, I've done this myself over the years, and it is a lot of work, but it's very it's an important part of our political process. And so, look, if you are one of those who like to be involved and you like to have input in what takes place, then this is where it all starts, right here at your precinct meeting coming up. And of course, we're talking about Spartanburg County. Other counties will have the same process, but just different times, different places. So if you're in another county, just search for your county's Republican Party, and they'll have information posted as well. Or if you can't find it, email me, and I'll try to find it for you. Curtis Smith, it's always a pleasure. Again, I appreciate the time and effort you put into this, and I look forward to seeing you. I won't see you at the precinct meeting. I'm in Abner Creek. Well, I guess I will. You'll be. Will you be at all the precinct meetings?
All of them.
All right. Well, I'll see.
Be at all the precinct meetings.
I'll see you. My precinct is Abner Creek, so I'll see you then, and then of course I'll see you at the county convention as well.
Okay, Joey. Thank you.
That's it for today's edition of Just the Truth. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss Studios. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. If you haven't joined my mailing list yet, visit my website, joeyhudson.com. Click on the Connect with Joey button so that you can receive our emails and the most up-to-date news. Also, join me on my YouTube channel. Be sure and like, comment, and subscribe. Just search for Joey Hudson. As always, thanks for spending a few minutes of your day with me. Do me a favor and forward this episode to a few friends. Just click on the share button and send to your contacts. We need to build an army of conservatives to win our country back, and we can do that by continuing to share the truth with our friends and family. Keep those comments coming via the Furman Ford text line 864-477-JOEY. Email to joey@joeyhudson.com, and I love your messages on the MyPillow message line. Again, that's 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Be sure and take advantage of the MyPillow special, just $14.88 on the standard MyPillows when you use promo code Joey. Order online at mypillow.com or call 800-893-4053. We're back again tomorrow and hope you'll plan to join us. Until then, remember, God's got this. He's still in control.